Hello there, I am Maria Masane and this is Qtv News coming to you live from our studios along the Caraba Avenue. Thanks for joining us. Here are the main local business and sports news headlines. The Gambia's Minister of Health lays fears over administering the AstraZeneca COVID vaccine following concerns raised in several European countries. Drug law enforcement officials refute claims of cocaine being found at the fish meal factory in Sanyang as calm is restored after a day of violence and unrest. First Lady Fatoumata Barrow on Monday visited some schools in CRR to offer water bottles to children. In business news, celebration of International Women's Day continue as we speak to a woman who makes a living customizing mirrors. Those were our main headlines. Now the news in detail. Don't go away. In the wake of reports that several countries have temporarily halted the use of the AstraZeneca COVID-19 vaccine, with many Gambians taking to social media to express concerns, the Minister of Health, Dr. Ahmadullah Samate, on Tuesday allayed fears over its safety. More in this report.
Even though there has not been any conclusive evidence as to the authenticity of reports linking blood clots reported in some patients to the vaccine, concerns over side effects linked to the AstraZeneca vaccine are on the rise in Europe. As a precautionary measure, some countries have halted its use, and Germany has become the latest country to pause its rollout. Reacting to those safety concerns, Gambia's Minister of Health, Dr. Ahmadullah Samate, says government is following advice from the World Health Organization, which maintains that the vaccine is safe. On reports of other countries instituting temporary bans, the minister says they are closely monitoring developments.
What I know is that, yes, we've all heard about some countries having taken those precautionary measures. They are called precautionary measures as suspension. But yet still, as a country, we go by international standards, not what actually has been done by one country or the other and gets to be disseminated on the news platforms. We go by international guidelines. There are expert committees, and typically the WHO is the custodian of those guidelines when it goes to the international arena. So countries listen to the WHO, and from the information we are getting, it is not recommended. The WHO is not recommending a ban.
He also revealed that the ministry had over the weekend halted its vaccination rollout and that its committee of experts continues to monitor and consult with partners. However, he adds public health safety remains a top priority for his ministry.
Nonetheless, over the weekend, so these things happened yesterday, Friday, when we got to hear about this. So over the weekend, no vaccination was taking place in the Gambia, so that we meet and look at the advice, and that's what we did exactly yesterday. And as we speak today, we have an immunization technical advisory group that is meeting today to look at the vaccination issues. Sweden, Italy, France, Spain, Denmark, Norway and the Netherlands are among a host of countries who have halted the use of the AstraZeneca vaccine. They called on the European Medicines Agency to investigate suspected side effects before any further action is taken. This afternoon, the agency reported that it had found no evidence of a direct link between the vaccine and blood clots. Answane Sonyasi for Qtv News.
Officers of the Forensic Directorate of the National Drug Law Enforcement Agency have told journalists that contrary to public claims of cocaine being found at the fish meal factory, their analysis have shown the opposite. Meanwhile, calm has been restored in Sanyang and a man has been arrested and is in police custody for allegedly stealing money following the ransacking of the fish meal factory. Mahmoudullah bin Choi reports.
After a day of tension in the community of Sanyang, calm and stability have been restored with a strong security presence and patrols in the village ramped up. The police and other security agencies have already launched an investigation into an act of vandalism by a violent mob that vented its anger by burning a police station a fish meal factory and other properties in the wake of a murder incident.
Right now, we are intensifying security at Sanyang and its surrounding because we've gathered intelligence around whispers that are going around, the fact that some people said they will attack Senegalese residents of that area also. So we are working hard to ensure that security and protection is provided to people, vulnerable people.
Senior officers of security forces with teams of investigators are on the ground at the police station and the fish meal factory that was set ablaze by the mob. Part of their mission is to investigate the alleged murder incident and to assess the damage caused by the fires. At the Sanyang police station, almost nothing was spared by the fire, while at the fish meal factory, work is ongoing to rescue the remaining properties from a still smoldering fire. Alongside a busy atmosphere at the fish meal factory, forensic officers of the National Drug Law Enforcement Agency are doing analysis of various samples to investigate the alleged presence of cocaine on the premises. We have been closely monitoring this process, and at the end of it, we are briefed by the Director of Forensics about the results.
And we've done the test, we do the true NAC and we do the color test to confirm whether they are drugs, but we can clearly say that they don't show any slightest presence of drugs in them. So that's the information we can pass to the public, that there is no drug found in these premises.
Amidst a tense situation and the mob attack at the factory, one of the alleged mob members who ransacked the place has been arrested by the officers of the Gambian Navy and is now in police custody. He is alleged to have been in possession of $36,000 stolen from the fish meal factory safe. An official of the factory who did not want to speak to us on camera feels devastated, and he lamented to me that in the absence of peace and security, investors are threatened and wouldn't risk doing business in the country, adding that they have suffered a huge loss at the factory due to the fire. So far, arrests have been made, but details are yet to be revealed by the police, who have promised to be guided by due legal process in dealing with alleged perpetrators and to offer protection to the public, especially the vulnerable people in Sanyang.
Investigation will reveal all the details that will be put out there at the end of the day for a general assessment of the whole situation. And so, like you have mentioned, even though we are working hard to ensure that certain individuals that are found wanting are also apprehended and also prosecuted if possible, and all this will show when the investigation details are out.
In the lead up to the tension yesterday, which led to attacks against Senegalese nationals in Sanyang, a Senegalese delegation was expected to arrive today for talks about the unfortunate development. The deceased has also been laid to rest at a ceremony attended by senior government officials and religious leaders. Mahmoud Lamin Choi, Qtv News.
As the country deals with a second wave of the coronavirus, there is a need to remind us all to be vigilant. First Lady Fatoumata Barrow on Monday visited some schools in the Central and Upper River regions to offer water bottles to kids as part of efforts to contain the spread of the COVID-19. Aliou Cisse reports.
The schools visited were Sare Bojo Lower and Upper Basic, Chamkunda Lower Basic, Sare Yoro Lower Basic, Kerewan Demba Lower Basic, Kunkununku Lower Basic, Mr. Tobin Lower Basic, and Mahmoud Fana Basic Cycle School. At each school visited, each child was handed a water bottle to discourage sharing the same cup or bottle to drink, either at school or home.
The
welfare of these kids is our priority because they are the future leaders of the country, she remarked in the Mandinka language. The First Lady also used the visit to urge parents and children to embrace the reality of COVID-19 as a killer virus. First Lady Barbaro emphasized the importance of hygiene as a preventive measure against the virus, which has so far claimed over 100 lives in the Gambia and infected over 5,000 people. I want to encourage you all to regularly wash your hands and wear masks, she further advises. The First Lady was accompanied by the country coordinator of the MRC Holland Foundation, Henrietta Sonko, whose foundation has constructed additional classrooms at the beneficiary schools. For these children, the joy wasn't just because of the water bottles and the benefits of the donation, but also meeting and interacting with the First Lady for the first time. The First Lady is expected to visit more schools to make similar donations. Reporting for QTV News, I am Aliou Cissé.
As part of its support to government's response to contain COVID-19 in the Gambia, the World Health Organization on Tuesday donated medical equipment worth $150,000 to the Ministry of Health at a ceremony presided by the WHO country representative. More in this report from Ansumana S. Onyase.
Handing over the equipment, Dr. Desta Tiruni, WHO country representative, reaffirmed the WHO's unwavering commitment to supporting government in its national response to the COVID-19 pandemic. He cited several other interventions made by the WHO since April last year as a clear manifestation of their preparedness to support government in dealing with what he described as a public health emergency that requires collective action.
If every one of us take responsibility and use the preventive measures that we know, like washing hands, keeping distance, wearing the masks all the time, we can actually further also strengthen the response in the country.
He also enjoins members of the public to take personal responsibility to ensure a return to normal life by observing COVID-19 measures as advised by the WHO and the Ministry of Health. Receiving the items, the Minister of Health, Dr. Ahmadou Lamin Samate, expressed profound gratitude to the WHO for their continuous support and complementing government's national drive to contain the spread of the virus.
They've been bringing in experts to stand by the Ministry of Health, to look at our strategies together, to bring in international experience, to guide the processes, and together with our people, we are moving things forward. And we thank them for all the technical support they've been giving us. Equally speaking, there has been support with regards to materials since the beginning of the pandemic, with test kits, personal protective equipment, with a host of other equipment that have been donated to strengthen our capacity to be able to deal with COVID-19.
The health minister also paid tribute to healthcare workers and the media for their selfless service to country during what has been a very difficult period. The materials donated include swab and viral transport medium, pulse oximeters, patient monitors, and antibase rapid diagnostic test, which officials say will help accelerate testing for COVID-19. Tuesday's event was also attended by senior officials of the Ministry of Health and the WHO. Ansumana Onyase for Qtv News.
We will take a commercial break. Still to come, we have some more local news stories. Do not go away.
Buy your QCell credit using your QMoney account without any hassle. Cash in any amount starting from $10 and enjoy the amazing services QMoney has to offer. With QMoney, life is easy. Visit your nearest QMoney agent to cash in or call customer care on 133. Don't forget to wash your hands with soap after handling cash. QMoney, Sunyu Kalpe. We innovate, others follow.
Welcome back. A reminder that you're watching QTV News coming to you live from our studios along the Caraba Avenue. On Monday, the Gambia Competition and Consumer Protection Commission joined the rest of the world to commemorate World Consumer Rights Day with this year's theme, Tackling Plastic Pollution. Ajibintu Drama reports.
The World Consumer Rights Day, observed on the 15th March each year, is used to raise global awareness about consumer rights and needs and to protest against market abuses and social injustice. The theme for this year is choosing to engage recyclers who turn plastic to useful products and also to promote and address plastic pollution. Plastics and tires can be recycled into useful products such as bracelets, bags, basketries, chairs, bricks, tiles, and grind to make fine products like plastic containers, among others. Plastic is one of the most misused man-made materials that causes huge environmental damage. The United Nations estimates that up to 13 million metric tons of plastic ends up in the ocean each year, which is equivalent to a rubbish or garbage truckloads worth every minute. This means 800 species worldwide are affected by marine debris. Fish, seabirds, sea turtles and whales are mostly victims of this reckless activity.
The 2020 World Consumer Rights Day campaign will focus on 7 R's: rethink, reuse, reduce, reuse, recycle, repair, and replace. The 7 R's can be used as an effective way to ensure that we minimize plastic use, refuse unnecessary plastic where possible, and demand more sustainable alternatives from businesses and government.
This year's campaign calls for collective action and responsibility to tackle increasing plastic pollution. Mohamed M. Jabang, Program Officer NEA, emphasized that collective efforts are needed for the continuous ban on plastic in the Gambia.
It's always difficult to ban plastic because still now people are bent on using them, even though there's this ban order. So we are trying our level best to actually forge linkages with relevant stakeholders, so that we can collectively come together and make sure that the ban order is respected and is implemented across the country.
Around the Gambia, one does not have to look too hard to find examples of plastic pollution. Mbai Jabang, the permanent secretary at the Environment Ministry, says the ban on plastic should be enforced to emulate other countries.
I have had the opportunity to travel in the sub-region and compare our efforts at curbing plastic ban to our neighboring countries. And it's really gratifying to know that our efforts are paying dividend, because I feel really good when I see the environments in certain cities and major towns in our neighboring countries where plastic proliferation is an eyesore.
Showcasing their end products, Aissatou Cisse, the director of Women's Initiative Gambia, says the ban of plastic is laudable. She adds that the environmental challenge should be addressed for the safety of the younger generation.
We are also working with schools because we believe that the young kids, they need to know about it when they're young, so that we will be exchanging ideas with them. They grow with the idea, then they will be very careful, because they are the very one who's going to handle the next generation. So they need to know about it today, so that when they grow up, they will be able to take care of their environment better, because we don't want them to suffer as we are.
Babukar E. Kamara, the project officer at Innovative Plastic Recyclers, makes bricks, floor tiles, among other decorative material from plastic. He says stakeholders should come on board to collaborate in making this a success.
Initiative would need a lot of support in terms of boosting up the capacity of the people in this recycling center, business-wise, also with materials to recycle it more. Most of these things that are here are done manually, and our labor force is few youths and then more female, older age people.
Other participants also complained about the lack of financial support and capacity building, and urged stakeholders to support plastic recyclers to help address unemployment. Ajibintu Drame, QTV News.
The Kansala Trust Organization of Fonyi Kansala District in the West Coast region and the Council of Labour Notables of Senegal on Monday started a 4-day seminar on sustenance agriculture in greenhouses and solar energy production. This is part of a project to be implemented on a 30 hectares land at Santamba village in Fonyi Kansala District. Yahya Jawa reports.
This seminar has brought together stakeholders and partners to discuss and share the significance of adopting the project in Gambia. The meeting is expected to equip various stakeholders with better knowledge and the overall vision of the project. This is expected to increase efficiency of the various parties concerned and establish an effective plan for the execution of the project. Lamin Sane, the governor of West Coast region, said the Agricultural Alliance project between Senegal and the Gambia is a wonderful initiative. He described the development as a cause to end hunger and poverty, as the project aims to boost agricultural productivity and bring sustainable economic development for the people of his region and the country at large. He went on to say that the successful implementation of the project will help cement the bilateral relationship between the two countries.
Gambia and Senegal share many things in common. We are two countries that are inseparable. It was through history that after colonization, we have the French colonies and the English colonies, where they become Francophone and Anglophone. But despite that, these two countries are all the same.
The Chief Executive Officer of Kansala Trust Organization, Usman Jeju, said the project will create employment opportunities, improve food security and the socio-economic status of the community, and as well as promote strong cultural ties between Senegal and the Gambia. He went on to give a brief description of the solar energy production, which is a part of the project.
Very important part of this project, because what is going to happen is this 30 hectares of land is going to be constructed with assembled buildings, which is going to measure about 40 meters by 150 meters each building. And each of these buildings is going to be roofed with solar panels. The solar added together, when it's generated, is going to produce up to 10 megawatts. And that 10 megawatts cannot all be utilized into the project. The excess, we intend to sell it to NAWEC at a very low rate.
Senegal's ambassador to the Gambia, Bassirou Sène, on behalf of the Senegalese President Macky Sall, thanked the government of the Gambia and highlighted the importance of the project for the two countries.
His Excellency Macky Sall instructed me strongly to do all my best, to do all effort, to give all capacity to contribute to improve a resilient, sustainable development between Senegal and the Republic of the Gambia. So, to extend to you his profound appreciation for your wise initiative to build his important and big agriculture projects.
Musa Amul Nyasi, the National Assembly member for Fonyi Kansalar District, had this to say.
Agriculture plays a fundamental role, and the transformative change that we are all yearning for can only be realized if both governments redouble their spendings in the area of agriculture and show more commitment in promoting agricultural activities across the length and breadth of these countries.
Once successfully implemented, the project will have a positive impact on the two implementing partners, especially the rural communities, where agriculture plays an essential role in sustaining and driving the economy of every developing country. Yahya Jao, QTV News.
From that story, we will go with another commercial break. Still to come, we have local business and international and sports news stories. Don't go away. Welcome back. If you're just tuning in, this is QTV News coming to you live from our studios along the Caraba Avenue, and I am Mariama Sane. A clean environment contributes greatly to one's quality of life. In support of this, Help Gambia, a non-governmental organization, on Sunday organized the cleaning exercise in two communities in Bassa URR. For the man attended the exercise, and his report is narrated by Mamadou Gajaga.
Communities are built by reducing household risk and vulnerabilities to environmental pollution, climate change hazards, and extreme weather conditions in the country. This event was used to sensitize the community of Kobakunda in an area called Las Palmas Passe on the effects of climate change and a COVID-19 second wave. At the event, the regional youth chairman of URR, Boubacar Sidibe, representing Help Gambia, the aim is to reduce the vulnerability of communities to climate change.
Actually, the cleansing exercise, this hasn't been the first one. We've been involved into it in different locations. But Kobakunda is very much vulnerable when it comes to rainy season and others because they have limited trees. Like last year, I was here again with them to plant trees and also to see how best we can contribute to having a lot of trees in the area. So we believe this time around the target is to have a good cleansing exercise. Then by April towards May, we will now embark on tree planting. But you cannot have your tree planted or trees planted already and the place is not that clean. It will also contribute to it dying very quick. So this is why today we are here and trying to see how best we can get to different locations of the area and make it happen.
Buaro Keita, a community member, says the cleansing exercise is timely as it will contribute to the fight against the pandemic as well as other diseases.
Las Palmas, as you said, we are here in our large numbers doing this cleaning exercise because we believe that cleanliness is next to godliness. And it's also when you are clean, you are prevented, or you are preventing your community from other diseases such as COVID-19 pandemic.
Mr. Cater further said that his community lacks some necessities, such as electricity, good roads, and water, and called on government and other philanthropists to come to their aid.
During rainy season, it's difficult. Sometimes you pity the people of Las Palmas when it comes in the rainy season. Some people not even go out the whole day, and some need to go to the market. Sometimes they spend so many hours before the water is drowned to the ground. And it is also another problem of electricity. We have so many youths that are very skillful, and their skill goes with electricity, and they cannot have the afford to buy electricity because of the cost involved. The other thing also that we have here is a major problem is water resources. The water is also, we all know, the water is most important fundamental resources that every human being needs. You can lack electricity, is understood. You can lack road, is understood. But water is one of the most important things that human being needs in their life. So this is another problem that we have in Las Palmas here. We are calling all philanthropists, especially the government, the present government, to come to our aid and see that these problems that are alarming in our area is solved.
Both the Imam of the community, Al-Husseini Sow, and the women's leader, Aissatou K. Jallo, thanked Help Gambia for the great initiative. In the long run, taking care of the environment means we also take care of our own health and well-being. Umudu Gajaga, QTV News.
International Women's Day highlights the important role women continue to play in society. A woman at the Sarakunda market earns her living by making and selling mirrors. Lolly M. Kamara caught up with her, and this is her report.
Recognizing the efforts of women throughout the month of March, we look at the achievements and challenges women continue to face while turning their ideas into reality. The theme for this year's celebration, Women in Leadership Achieving an Equal Future in a COVID-19 World, Choose to Challenge, has also inspired Eve Jiboyi, a Sierra Leonean living in the Gambia, to be even more committed to her trade. According to Eve, she started making mirrors way back in Liberia, where she makes more money than in the Gambia. Adding that she has encountered challenges, but is trying to make some money to be able to return to Sierra Leone.
Can't get anything, but we just said it to suffer for the day in. That's all. Yeah, and I'm looking at Liberia, where you buy, you achieve something from there, and you can even find something to say you pay horse. But yeah, we are getting nothing from inside. Yeah, you say whole day go check the money and maybe to feed discourage. If you don't get money to go back, say you think you have to get money to go back to face your document and to go back. So it's very difficult, but we're praying to God to help us. Little is much, but God is in a small.
She further explains how she is able to get all the materials to do her trade.
I paid the money, I paid 2,000 for this one you see here. Yeah, no use. So I said 50-50. The one will get, or it be 500, say I thank God for the day. But again, we see the money, that the way you can be making be seeing money. You know, everybody get our country tradition. So me, I can't jump into people's tradition and mama business and they go and help me.
Eve is excited about her job and encourages others to take up self-employment initiative. For now, all she wishes for is to earn money that will enable her finally to return to her homeland, Sierra Leone. For QTV News, Lolly M. Kamara.
Up next is the sports news. Here's Ali Cisse with the latest. Ali, what's happening in the world of sports?
Thank you very much, Mariama. Well, we're starting with volleyball because the head coach of the Gambia under-19 male volleyball team has blamed what she calls poor preparation and long travel route for the team's underperformance. Well, despite having won bronze medal in the just ended Foreign Nation Volleyball Championship in Nigeria, Mari Wada believes the team could have done better. She made these remarks on QTV's Q Sports, and here's an excerpt.
A national team going for a competition need to get enough preparation before going. The Gambian contingent, going to Nigeria was not really prepared. Was not prepared at all, let me say. They were not prepared at all. It was just an information received from our president, who is the president of the control committee at the competition over there. The Gambia need to participate. Upon receiving the information, Tuesday morning, a team was prepared, and then we took up to Nigeria that same Tuesday, without training, without camping, without having all the necessary facility that is needed for a national team to prepare for a competition. But nonetheless, the zeal was there with the technical side and then the boys, just to attend the competition, because to us, we deem it necessary that this is a chance for Gambia, because it's always difficult for Gambia to attend such competition. So having, received that information very prompt, we just thought we should take our chance. That was the reason why we went for this competition. We took a very long route. It was really, really very hectic, to be honest, for a national team traveling for a competition. We went through Dakar by road and then took our flight to Abidjan. From Abidjan to Lagos, where we slept at the airport for that whole night before we were able to have another flight to Lagos.
Well, that's the head coach of the Gambia under-19 male volleyball team, Mari Wada. We are expressing the challenges they faced while they traveled to Nigeria to participate in the Four Nations Volleyball Championship. Well, last Friday, during a CAF General Assembly in Rabat, South African billionaire Patrice Motsepe was elected unopposed CAF president after the withdrawal of 3 other contenders, including Senegalese Augustin Senghor. Well, I am glad to say I'm joined on the line by the president of the Gambia Football Federation, Lamin Kaba Bajo, who was equally in Rabat. Mr. Bajo, thank you so much for speaking to us.
Yeah, you're welcome. You're welcome.
Well, good to have you back. Just a quick one. Why do you think it was so simple for Motsepe to go unopposed at this Congress?
I think the candidates who were up to challenge him were convinced of the need for unity within our ranks, because we all know in the recent past the CAF leadership has had so many contentious issues, and it brought about a lot of disunity and division. Many camps were created, and then maybe going through an election in that situation without bringing people together to focus on one objective would not have solved the problem. And I think when this idea of coming together and having a unified candidate to work towards the same direction for the betterment of our continental body, and they were convinced, and that made them to reconsider their positions and rally behind one candidate and give him all their support, so that at least in the interest of the continental body.
But many are arguing that the interference of the FIFA president, Gianni Infantino, played a key role in this thing. Do you agree?
I wouldn't say interference. I wouldn't say interference because really I haven't witnessed any interference. I have no doubt that the interest of FIFA is to have a unified CAF, a stable CAF, an organized CAF, an effective CAF. And that couldn't have been achieved under the status quo at the time. So I think what the role FIFA would have played is advisory and also give their what their expectations are about CAF. So I could say I have not seen any form of interference. Interference would have been could have been could have been otherwise. But I think it's in the interest of everybody, because CAF is very important in FIFA. And if you look at all the other confederations, really CAF still have a lot of work to do compared to our sister confederations.
Well,
and I think what President Infantino wants to have a CAF where he can also make a legacy.
talking about the critical role that CAF plays in the development of football in Africa, I mean, this is a body that has come under intense scrutiny over allegations of corruption. We have seen Ahmed, being banned for alleged corruption. Do you think Motsepe will be any different from Ahmed?
Yes, of course. If you look at FIFA, before Infantino was even worse. The FIFA did, you remember, when even executive committee members were picked up from their hotel room and the eve of a Congress. And if you look at the subsequent issues which involve, you call it the downfall of President Blatter and the numerous things that followed. So I think really maybe Ahmad's situation also, I think we will have hope that Mr. Motsepe, being an outsider, I say in quotes, has not been part of the core CAF body. And then we all also assume, we believe that because of it's already an established, businessman in his own right. He's a wealthy person. And when you talk about corruption, I don't say wealthy people don't corrupt, but I think really when it comes to corruption, we expect him to dip his hands into the CAF small, what is in CAF's coffers. Of CAF.
Well, Mr.
So we have all hopes that really, if what he achieves as an individual in his own business, in his own way, really it could also help CAF to get on better footing.
Yes, and you were also meant to contest for a seat at the FIFA Council. You were cleared by the FIFA Review Committee after undergoing an eligibility check together with 5 others, including Amadou Pinnick of Nigeria. And what we saw, you announced that you were withdrawing at the last minute. What prompted that decision, Mr. Bajo?
Yeah, that's what it's all about. Is just to help and be part of the process. If presidential aspirants could sacrifice their personal ambition for the betterment of the continental body, why not us? I also want to be part of that legacy. The discussion really centered on why 6 people should really vie for one position. And really, if we had to discuss among ourselves, and then the discussion, the candidacy narrowed down up to a level that we all feel really it's good that we give chance to one of us. Any of us could have really manned the position very effectively. But during the discussion, the majority believe really we can drop and give chance to Mr. Pinnick. He might not be better than all of us or more competent than us, but it's a consensus. This is why all the other 3 had to drop from Mr. Motsepe. So some will have to make a sacrifice. Based on that, the 3 of us gave way for Pinnick, and then the only guy who really continued has his right. He contested. Actually, he's the incumbent, and unfortunately, you know the outcome of the results.
All right, thank you.
My decision plus the decision of my other colleagues is not based on anything other than to give peace and unity a chance at compromising or sacrificing our own individual ambitions for the interest of CAF, by extension.
I'm afraid, Mr. Bajo, we will cut it there. Thank you so much for speaking to us. Well, that was Lamin Kaba Bajo, President of the Gambia Football Federation, speaking to us from his home. Well, Mariama, that's all for the sports news. Back to you.
Thank you, Aliu, for a rundown of the sports news. It's always great to have you in the studios. Before we end this bulletin, let's take a quick look at our main stories. The Gambia's Health Minister allays fears over administering the AstraZeneca COVID vaccine following concerns raised in several European countries. Drug law enforcement officials refute claims of cocaine being found at the fish meal factory in Sanyang as calm is restored after a day of violence and unrest. In a bid to remind school children to remain vigilant about curbing the spread of COVID-19, First Lady Fatoumata Barrow on Monday visited some schools in CRR to offer water bottles to children. In business news, celebration of International Women's Day continue as we speak to a woman who makes a living customizing mirrors. That's all we have for you in this edition of the QTV News. Do join us tomorrow and do enjoy the rest of our programs. Thanks for staying with us. Bye-bye.